Good afternoon, fam. It's your girl, Miss Diva Trucker, and I'm coming to you today because we are starting the brand new year of 2021, right? And a lot of times when we start a new year, we all got caught up and we decided what we're going to start doing for the year 2021 is since we have so many new drivers that's coming in the industry, so many drivers that's wanting to get their permit and things like that. So we are going to do a weekly series where you can have questions and answers, okay? Getting your permit, what school you need to go to. This is just this live feed in a series that we're doing is just going to be for new drivers, okay? Drivers that have under a year experience. So you have a platform where you can come in and you can ask any questions. Hey, Highway Exec. And tonight, without further ado, I want to bring in my brother. Okay, we started off, he was in the industry before I was in the industry. You all know him as the most inspirational, motivational driver. Okay, and he has his own channel, which is called Mr. Sinister, the Trucker. He also has a group called Team RG Global, and we've both been in the industry for a long period of time. And I am going to bring him on right now, and we're just going to answer some questions for you guys that you have. There he is. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Sinister. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's everybody tonight?
We are doing wonderful. Hello, Jason. Hello, Calvin, Eric, Highway Exec. Long time no see. You must have been really busy. But tonight, what we're doing is a lot of times, when we get experience and we're going on with our journey, and some of we paid our truck off, we become lease drivers, and doing a lot of other things, we forget about the time when we got into the industry. So what we wanted to do on this podcast was, hey, Big Face, long time no see. Lord, Christine, everybody's in the house tonight. So what we basically want to do is, a lot of you guys be talking about, oh, Miss Diva is for the females and the ladies and all that kind of stuff. Well, I got Mrs. Sinister here as well that's been helping drivers along the way. Sin, welcome to the channel. Okay, give them a little bit of background about you, your journey, and all that kind of stuff, and then we're just gonna get right into the business. Let's go.
All right. Well, I've been in the industry 7 years now, going on 8 years in June. I'm an owner operator for going on 3 years next month. I drove for Warner, Knight, Tribe, and Minstar, and then I became an owner operator. And my truck is fully paid off.
That's right. Tell me how it was when you started, because a lot of people are just now, deciding one of their New Year's resolutions may be, to get their CDL. We're going through a crisis right now, pandemic with COVID and things like that. And it causes a lot of people to maybe want to switch up in careers. And I thought, with everything going on in the new year, we can kind of go back from where we first started, right? And help some of these other people that's coming in the industry behind us to
looking to come in.
Yes. So let me ask you this. When we first got started, right? We started doing our research and things like that and how to get your license. What are some of the tools that you use to study for your permit?
I went to a website called chriscdl.com. And on chriscdl.com, they allow you to take general knowledge, air brakes, combination, passenger, hazmat. And what I used to do was I used to sit there. Yeah, that's it right there. And then in the upper left-hand corner, I haven't been on the website in a long time, but in the upper left-hand corner of the web page is online testing, and it's free. and it allows you to take the test over and over and over again without paying for it. Last time I was on there. So what I tell everybody is, if you're looking to come into trucking and want to do over the road, or you're studying to get your CDL, only study general knowledge, because that's the biggest section. That's the one with the most information. And a lot of people, they study general knowledge, air brakes, and combination. And then what happens is it becomes overwhelming, and they try to go to DMV and they try to get everything knocked out.
Okay. And I do know that, some of the requirements, let's talk about what it takes to get your CDL, right?
Yep.
Give me 1 second. Some of the requirements of what it takes to get a CDL, and I'm just going to pull up Georgia, for example,
Yep.
and look at that. And one of the requirements is, in most of the states, you have to be at least 18 years old. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that is mostly to run intrastate within the state, right? So
Yeah.
that means, like, if you live in Georgia or you live in Mississippi or wherever it is that you live, you can get a commercial driver's license. But a lot of them will not allow you to go out of state, or even go out of state because of maybe insurance or whatever the case may be. They want you to at least be 21 to, haul loads interstate, okay, where you can go across the state line. So as an 18-year-old, Sam, as an 18-year-old, and you're finishing high school and things like that, and you want to go get your CDL license or your CDL permit, when you're 18 years old, what kind of jobs would you be able to find as an 18-year-old just getting out of high school?
Man,
CDL permit. I mean, CDL license.
as far as CDL, well, with me being from New York City, I think the only thing you probably going to be able to do is maybe like Amulet, maybe Accessorize, because I used to drive for Accessorize, and Accessorize, basically you picking up people, taking them to dialysis, taking them to hospital appointments, taking them, they might go to the supermarket and they got no way of getting around as far as like public transportation, so they set Accessorize up. Or they might be taking Accessorize to go to another family member house somewhere else, and then you pick them, you drop them off, and then they'll schedule their appointment and someone else will pick them up and bring them back home.
Okay.
Or school bus. Or
Yeah.
school bus.
School bus. Some of the things that I found out is, as an 18-year-old, you can work for like Coca-Cola and
Right.
do delivery routes, Pepsi, things that does not require you to go out of the state. As long as you can stay inside the state, then you should be fine. Now,
Right.
the qualifications of getting a CDL, if you're asking yourself, do I need a class A or not? Can I drive without one? The qualifications that say that you must have a CDL is, what is the weight limit?
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not paying. I'm paying attention. I'm just sharing the video all over the place. So
The weight limit, right, guys? If you want to know if you can, the Salvation Army, aka Spiss, and y'all experienced drivers, if y'all are in here and you got some answers to these questions or some advice for the new drivers as well, please feel free to chime in. All knowledge is welcome. Because the thing about this podcast is that we're trying to help the people that's coming in behind us. Okay.
right.
And those of you that's been in the industry for 7, 10, 15, 20 years always can help somebody else. Okay. So this is where we do our podcast on Each One Teach One. And
I like that.
if you have
I think that's what we should call it. Then
Each One Teach One.
Yep.
Okay. And if you have any questions or anything that we can help you with, feel free to put those questions in the comment section, because I know you reach out to us and gets a lot of inboxes about going to school and things like that. I get a lot of them. And a lot of times when he's driving or I'm working, we don't get a chance to answer those questions on a one-on-one basis. So
Right.
this is where you're able to come in, and any question that you have about license, going to school, all those different type of things, we
Choosing
will
a
be
truck
able to
company.
assist you and answer those questions, and maybe it could help somebody else out as well. Okay, so the thing is, now we have that we have people that also do hot shot loads, cargo vans, and things like
Right.
that. The difference between just having a regular Class C license, guys, and having your Class A license is going to be the weight, for one.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a total combined weight of 26,000 pounds or more, then you're going to be looking to go towards your Class A. Okay. Also, is the combination. The combination is your truck and trailer, whether it's a dry van trailer, a reefer trailer, whether it's a dually truck and a trailer on that. That is what separates you from having a Class C license to a Class A license. Okay. And once you do that, let's see. I think you helping. I'm working on my CDL now. Okay, Miss Dyke, that's right. You in school? Y'all say congratulations to Miss Carolyn Dyke. She is one of my
Hey,
recruits.
Carol.
She is one of my recruits, and she is currently in school getting her training. And we're gonna talk
That's
about some
good.
hard times because right now she's in the trenches. Okay, she is, what we call getting it out the mud. Okay.
Hey, you know what? She in school. She in school, and the majority of the time when you in school, the hardest thing that's going to frustrate you is the backing and the shifting.
Right.
And what I want to tell you is, for those that's in school, when you take your pre-trip, and you got to do your pre-trip, I want you to study your pre-trip. Take pictures of the hood, like the front of the truck with the hood down. Take a picture of the engine on the driver's side. So when you go back to your hotel, you can sit there, look through your pictures, and you can point it out to yourself. Because a lot of people, some people can read and grab the knowledge. Some people's visual learners, which is your learning curve. And then practice your pre-trip like it's your favorite song. You got, when you listen to a song that you like, you got to play it over and over to get the lyrics. So
Right.
do your pre-trip like that. You start from the top, you work your way down. My marker lights is clear and amber. My windshield is clear, no cracks. All of that. And
Right.
that's and just recite it to yourself over and over. That's the purpose of them having us doing timetables in school over and over, because it becomes second nature. And the
Right.
back end is going to frustrate everybody. The back end frustrates everybody. Don't feel like you by yourself. And the shifting frustrates everybody. But a lot of schools probably doing automatics nowadays. But when I went, it was stick shift. It was standard.
Right. Um, when you decide to make a career change, right? Because a lot of people, they have careers, they have degrees, they're looking for change. They never drove an 18-wheeler before, okay?
Yep.
Don't know nothing about, this big 80,000 pound vehicle scares a lot of people, right?
Yep.
Especially women getting in the industry. It's a little intimidating. We never shifted a truck before. We never know. I mean, the most I ever knew about, a vehicle was actually, putting the gas in the vehicle, right?
Right. Right.
I didn't know anything about under the hood and all that kind of stuff. So it was a little bit intimidating when I first came in the industry because I didn't know anything. I felt like a lot of the men knew about shifting in the truck and all that kind of stuff. So I figured they
No.
knew more than what I did.
No.
But that
The first time I ever shifted was when I got into trucking.
was when
I
you got
always drove an automatic car. I ain't never drove a stick shift car in my entire life. I
life.
ain't started learning shifting until I got into trucking.
So when you go and study, you're not going to know everything about that truck, especially when you go and take your permit. Taking your permit to me was basically just memorizing the answers. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Because I didn't know air brakes. I didn't know kingpin. I didn't know, all these different parts of the vehicle.
PSIs, yeah,
Yeah,
PSIs.
PSIs and all that kind of stuff. It was just really extremely difficult.
It
And
was
I
Florida.
broke that test down into three parts. And I think I failed general knowledge, I think about two, three times before I could get that down.
Hmm.
But it wasn't that you knew what was going on. It was that you memorized the answers and you was just able to go back through it and get an 80 on the test, right? So
Yep.
the first three things that you are going to have to take when you're trying to get your CDL license, your Class A license, is what is called the general knowledge, the
Yep.
air brake test, and the combination test. Okay. Combination is what it is with the truck and the trailer. Okay. You have that kingpin that's holding both parts together, and they ask you questions about that, right?
Hmm.
So you have to pass that with at least an 80, I think, in all states, right? And then
Yeah.
what they will do is they're going to issue you a Class A permit. Okay. Some states will allow you have to have your Class C, your regular driver's license, for a period of time before you can apply for a Class A. But some states don't have that requirement for you. You can go and get a Class A the same day you get your Class C if you want to. Okay. Another thing that you're going to have to do is once you pass that, right, you are going to have to take a DOT physical, a Department of
Yep.
Transportation physical, right? And that has to be attached to your driving record. Okay. And it's going to test you about your vision. It's going to test you about your, do they do a hearing test? I know they do the
Yep.
vision. They want to know
Yep.
about blood pressure,
Yep.
just your medical history.
Uh,
Go ahead.
yeah. A grip test. They'll have you squeeze their finger. They'll
Some
have you
may
squeeze.
have you do an agility test, right?
At companies.
At the
At
company, you may have to do
Yeah,
that.
at the companies. Yeah. Some
Okay.
companies require that.
So once you pass and get your permit, before you can test and get your CDL permit, there is a waiting period, okay? And it's about 14 days before you can test out, right? So anytime after 14 days, you can go ahead and test out for your Class A. Now, is there a law that's saying that you have to go to school before you get your CDL license or test out? No, you can actually get a CDL permit, right? You can go through a third party tester if they allow it in the states. You can actually either rent a truck and trailer or take these 1 day courses just to get the basics down. And long as you get the basic maneuvers and fundamentals of driving the truck, they will allow you to get your CDL Class A license. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can do another route, which is the route Mr. Sinister did. And what route was that you took to get your CDL?
This is before I knew this. I ended up taking my Class A lessons. I was taking Class A lessons in New York City, and I got the license in the city. And then when I called the companies to come out here on the road, they was like, "You ain't go to a certified school." So I'm like, "A certified school? Like, I got the license." So what I found out was you got to go to a certified school that gives you 250 hours of tractor trailer training to qualify to go OTR. So that's why I went to Roadmasters. I ain't had to take my road test at Roadmasters because I already had the license. I just had to go for the hours, still practice my back end and my driving.
Okay.
That's it.
So Mr. Sinister, he took the route of taking out a loan, right?
Yeah, that was 7,000 with Roadmasters.
He took a loan out to get his CDL. Is that because you didn't know about the sponsored training schools or the
I
WIA?
really, yeah, I didn't really know about none of that.
Okay.
I didn't really know about like going to Prime, where Prime could bring you in if you only had your permit. So I was like, okay, we got to go to truck school, because all of the YouTubers that I was watching at the time I was coming in was Big Cat Trucker, your boy Eater Trucker, Little Guy. So all Brenda Banks, D Silva. So it really wasn't too much. And then there was a lot of people that was complaining about don't go here, don't go there. So it made it hard with my decision on what truck company I wanted to go to. Because at first I was going to go to CR England. Then I heard someone like, nah, don't come here. They do this, they do that. I'm like, all right, never mind. Then I was going to go to Warner. Then I heard this. And someone was like, don't go here. Then it was just so, it just had me so frustrated, because I'm like, okay, I went back to look at Prime, then I heard someone say something negative. I went back to look at Warner, someone said something negative. So I was sitting in the house like, Lord, please help me, put me somewhere that's going to appreciate me. Because
Right.
my mind was already programmed, because I heard everybody talking about, oh, they do this, they don't get you home, your check be messed up, they do this.
Right.
So that's what made me so frustrated about trying to find a company in the beginning. So I was like, you know what? When I get out here, I'm going to just break down everything so people know. And that's what I started doing.
Okay, so that's one way that you can get your CDL. You can go to a get a loan and borrow money and pay that back and stuff like that. You can do it that way. Now, if you get a loan and you go to one of these private organizations and take out to get your CDL, um, you have to pay that money back, right? And
And that's the truck company pay back your tuition. Some truck companies do up to 5,000. Some do up to 6,000 with tuition
reimbursement.
reimbursement or something.
Okay.
And then before you even get to that point, I'm glad you brought up the loan. My credit was shot. So my sister had to co-sign for me. So if your credit is not good, because Roadmasters was telling me to put up $2,500, I was only bringing home $329 a week from the airport job. So I'm like, where I'm getting $2,500 from?
Right, right. So that's the way that Sinister went. He got in the industry because he didn't know about the other programs, and
Yeah.
he got a loan and had to get a co-signer to even go to school. Right, that is one of the most expensive kind of ways you can go. If you have to do it
It boosts
all
my
over
credit
again,
up.
right?
Yeah.
But I went the sponsor training way, okay? And with the sponsored training, it's where you go to one of the big companies such as
Yeah.
CR England,
Yeah.
Prime, Swift, Warner, any company that has a CDL school. And what you do is they will pay for you a bus ticket. They will also pay for you your hotel stay or whatever the case may be. A lot of them you will have to pay for your own food, and you don't get paid while you're there. Okay, you don't get a check until you actually get your CDL license. Okay, some of them may pay for your food. I went
Yeah.
to CR England, and the reviews on CR England was the worst that you could ever have. But I didn't feel like I had any other choice. There is another choice called the WOIA program. And this is a state funded program with your local state. And it's for people that it maybe be unemployed. Okay. If you're unemployed, it is a grant that the state will give you if you qualify, right? But at the time when I went to qualify for the WOIA program, let me see if I can find it. It's called a workforce.
I'm still sharing the video all over the place.
Okay. If you let me see if I can pull it up for you guys real quick. It's where you can go, and the state will provide your training. Okay, so you can look up the WIA program, and go to your unemployment office and see if you qualify and they have funds for you to take your CDL training. Because if you qualify, they will pay for everything. You can go to maybe a college, you can go to all these different places, and it's free of charge. You don't owe anybody anything. Okay. There also, I think the Department of Transportation at one time in certain states was offering to pay for people CDL if they came and worked for the Department of Transportation, like on the roads and things like that. So it's different ways that you can do it. Also, but with the sponsored training that I went through CR England. Okay, what that means is they will send you out to the location. You have a certain period of time, a week or whatever, to take your CDL permit, right? And then after that, you go out to testing, but they want you to stay there, commit to them for a year. Okay. The difference
Mm-hmm.
is if you get your training from outside, you are not under contract with anybody, right? You can still go to those locations, but once you get your experience and your training, then you're free to go. Okay. They may want to keep you if they offer tuition reimbursement. But basically, if you already got your license and you got it from an outside source, you don't owe anybody anything, and you can leave as you wish. Okay. Once you do go to a sponsored training, they put you under a contract, right? So they want you to stay there for 12 months. They feel that since they gave you food, since they gave you a ride out there, they gave you a place to stay, they took you in. So they require you to stay with them for 12 months. And after 12 months, you don't owe them anything, right? Now, can you get out of it? Yes, you can.
Yep.
It's not a jail, okay? But they may require you to pay the portion of the tuition back. For example, if you stay there 6 months, you may have to pay the rest of the 6 months back. Okay. So it's very important to try to find a company that will reimburse your tuition if you so want to leave. Okay.
I didn't have that problem with Warner. When I left to go to night, like
Uh-huh.
my tuition wasn't fully paid off. And I think I only stayed at Warner for 6 months. So they don't pay the whole tuition off in one shot. They gradually do it each week. Like when you get your check, that's how they was doing it. But when I left Warner to go to night, I still had tuition left. And then night picked up the remaining of whatever my tuition was left that I owe.
Okay. Okay. So, what do they look for when you go into school? What is some of the qualifications you have to have? Because a lot of people ask about felonies and job history and work history. Sin, tell them about some of the qualifications that they need to have.
They was asking for what they asked me for. They was asking for, of course, your work history. They was asking for pay stubs because one of my employers wouldn't verify my employment. And every time they called, they couldn't get through. No one would return their call. They would leave a voicemail. Hey, we're trying to verify this worker's employment history. They would never call them back. So I had to go in my email and show them like, yeah, this is where I work, and then send them emails and of my pay stubs I got from that particular company. So make sure you got pay stubs and stuff like that from old employers, but entering trucking. So when you put them down and they call for you and, they might be on some funniness and don't want to verify your work history with them, you got your pay stubs to show the proof. And that's the reason why I think it was Prime that didn't take me, because one of my employers wouldn't verify my work history even though I had pay stubs. So Warner really fought for me to go there. So And my recruiter at the time, I remember her because she was the one who was fighting hard to get me there, was Morgan Baker. I don't know if she still worked there in recruiting, but that woman was amazing.
Okay. And some of the challenges that you may face trying to go to school or getting into a program, right? Now, listen, guys, if you have a felony, okay, with your felony, you can just get out of jail or just get off of parole or whatever the case may be, and you can get your CDL, okay?
Sure can.
But it will be a little bit harder to get it with a sponsor company. Okay. Usually, a sponsored company such as CR England, Swift, Warner, Prime, all these starter companies that have school, they will require for your felony to be at least 5 years old. Okay, you got to be off the books for 5 years, right? Some of them go with your conviction date, and some of them go with the date that you got off of probation. Okay, so it just depends on that, right? Now, if you do have a felony, don't let that deter you from getting into the industry because there are many programs that are set up for convicted felons. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
don't let that stop you.
don't let that stop you.
Don't
You,
let don't let don't let 3 no's be your final no.
yeah. So somebody will take a chance on you and get you in the door. Now, but you don't have to worry about that if you get your CDL on your own. But some of the challenges that you will face if you are a convicted felon is now you got your CDL. Where can I go to get my training? Okay. Because most companies that are mega companies will want you to have 5 years within you having a felony to come to their company. Okay. But there are ways around that. There are companies out there that will train you
Yeah,
and take you under their wing. Okay. The training is basically for insurance purposes, right? Okay, so that's why they put you out with a mentor, a trainer for about 4 to 6 weeks. That is not mandatory that you have to do with a small independent carrier or something like that. You could do one-on-one training with somebody. Somebody can put you on their truck once you got your license and you can train with them one-on-one. But for insurance purposes, it is a requirement that you go out with a trainer for at least 4 to 6 weeks until you are allowed to be by yourself in a truck. Okay. Now, things that you need to look out for is you want to ask questions about your training school. Some of the questions that you asked in when you was going to training school, what was very important to you?
well, when it came to the training school, I think my worry was figuring out what company I wanted to go to, because when I went to the truck school, it was um basically, if you go in, they're gonna put you in a hotel. So the hotel covers breakfast. You're gonna be at school. You're gonna be at the school during the afternoon. So they're gonna have lunch because carriers is gonna be coming there talking to you and everything like that. Dinner most likely is gonna be on you while you at the school, because they're gonna have you at the hotel. Because I went to Ohio to go to Roadmasters in Ohio in Columbus, so I was at the hotel. So they took care of breakfast. When I was in school during the afternoon, carriers was coming in, they was providing lunch. So I didn't have to worry about that. And when I got back, that's when I took care of dinner. Dinner was on me. So,
Okay.
yeah.
The trucking schools, they are a little bit different, okay? And some of the questions that you need to ask before you go to pick a school to go to, right? Some of the things that you want to ask is some of them, once you finish your training, you will once you finish your training, you will be a solo driver, right? Some of them, if you go to, they require you to team, okay, for 5 months, or they require you to team forever. Okay, I am going to give you a some sample companies that do training, and I'm gonna tell you the difference between these companies. Okay,
You know
go
what,
ahead.
sis? You just made me think of something. It just triggered my mind. When I got the license in New York City, since that school that I went to, because it was only a 27-foot truck that I did my class A on. And when I called the companies after I passed my road test, they was like, you didn't go to an accredited school. That's the question to ask. Are y'all accredited? Do y'all provide a 250 hours of tractor trailer training, and do you get your certificate? Because
Right,
there's in New York City, there's tractor trailer training, and I don't want to put those companies out there like that, because then it's like slander. But it's a school in New York City. Well, it's a few of them that's not accredited tractor trailer schools. You can go and still take your class A training and get the license, but then after you spend the money with that, you still got to go to an accredited school and do all that again. You might not have to take the road test because you already got the license if you passed it in New York City.
right. What I try to tell people as your driver recruiter, guys, if y'all don't already know, I have over 50 companies that I recruit for. And yes, if you have the money to train to go take it at a private organization or whatever the case may be, and you have the $6,000 or $7,000 to do that, by all means, do what you want to do that you see fit. That's good for you, right? But if you have that money, I would rather for you to save that $6,000 to $7,000 in your savings account and go to a sponsored school. And the reason why is it's going to take you a year to really get your foot wet, to really learn about driving a truck, to really, just learn how to get from point A to point B, to learn how to back, to do, all these different things that you need to do. You're not going to feel comfortable with driving that truck and trailer for at least a year. Okay. So if you're going to be dedicated and stay at that company for 1 year while you make all your little rookie mistakes, the little backing and all that kind of stuff. After that, you've been did your year, right?
Yeah.
And you don't owe anybody anything. You have your experience, and then the name of the game is name your own price. You go wherever you want to. Okay. And you still got your $7,000 in the bank or your $6,000 in the bank. Okay. One of the biggest things, guys, is that you don't make a lot of money when you come out to trucking. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to start at the very beginning, and the training checks are usually how much did you get paid a week training, Sin?
Yo, I came up when I came out. I went from making $329 a week at the airport job to making $650 once I got out. Well, my training check, it was like $400. So I still came up. I was happy
You
because
was up about $80, huh? You was
yeah,
happy you got a raise.
and then once I got on my own, I went to 650. I was like, yeah, this
You
is
were
a come
making
up
it.
for
You made
me.
it. You
Yo,
made it.
I was balling. You hear me? I was happy to come from $329 a week, making $11 an hour to making $650 for me. Listen, I was out here. I'm balling.
That's what you're going to see when you get on a truck with your trainer. Usually it's anywhere between 4 or 550 a week. Okay.
Yeah,
Some may pay by the hour. Some may just give you the little salary, and that's before taxes. Okay, so then your
yeah,
taxes got to hit in. So if you're somebody that has a job and you're making, all this money in your career, or you was making all that money in your career, it's going to be a
step back.
transition. Yeah,
Step back.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a transition. A lot of people sometimes have to, put stuff in storage, cut back on these bills, because you're about to go through something. And 4 to 6 weeks is like normal time. Okay. Some of you not going to make it in 4 to 6 weeks. Some of you going to need a little bit longer because you're not getting it. So you have to stay out there a little bit longer. So what
Yeah.
I try to tell people is, do you have a backup plan? Do you have a spouse that's supporting the household that can hold the household down until you come back? Do you have some savings that you can use? Can you cut off the lights and the cable and different things like that, because you're not going to be home. You're going to be gone for about 2 months. Okay. The biggest question that I have people ask, they say that, Miss Diva, can I go out to school and come back home and I want to work local? What's your answer on that, Sam?
Nope. Nope. Because a lot of companies back home, you know what? While y'all sitting home and y'all contemplating on coming in the trucking, look at the companies that you want to go to drive for, that you want to drive for locally, and look at the experience. There was a tanker company called Island Transportation. It's a tanker company out of Queens. They want 1 year over the road, and you got to have 1 year winter.
Right. And guys, it may be funny, but y'all look at it and be like, why I gotta go OTR, which is over the road? Why do I have to go over the road before I can go local? Okay. A lot of times when you're in big cities and things like that, the local companies want you to have some experience too. Okay.
1 to 2 years. 1 to 2 years.
And local is not as easy as you think. You got to be in small locations. You got to be able to back. You got to do a lot of stuff to do a local job, because if you're traveling around here in Atlanta and you want to do local, you better have your skills up to par. Okay.
And down in Atlanta, the streets is not like New York City. Remember, we got cars parked on the street up in New York City. So now you got an 18-wheeler and you got to come around that curve, and there's a car sitting right there on the corner.
Right.
I've seen many trucks make a right turn and pull the car right out the parking spot.
Right. So is it impossible? Nothing's impossible. Okay. You can come out of CDL school. You can get a job. I got a guy that got his license. He didn't even go out on the road with a trainer. He went and got a dump truck job. Okay. So you
Right.
can do local, but some of the mistakes that you may make if you go local right away, there may be a time that you want to go over the road. Okay. Guess what, guys? You still got to go to training. So either
Yep.
you can do your training now and knock it out, or you can do it later, but you're going to do it. Okay. So if you're going to the dump truck business, or you're going local soon as you get out of school, or whatever the case may be, if you ever decide that you want to go out for a regional OTR or go on the road, you're going to have to do the training.
I
Okay.
got a solution for that.
What's that?
Here's something to keep in mind. If you're gonna come out here, all right, some people go class B and then want to go class A. Go get the class A, because class A allow you to drive everything under it.
Right. The difference between the class B and the class A is
It's the
one
weight class.
test. Okay. And that is the combination. So if you already got your class B license, all you got to do is go down there to the permit place, take your combination, and they're going to give you a class A permit. Right.
Then
So
that's when you
now
get the truck.
you
Yeah.
got to step ahead, because you basically know everything else. All you got to do is, it's going to be a whole lot easier for you when you go to school. Right now, we talked about the training. We talked about, let's talk about some of the companies. Okay. I'm not here to tell you which company to go to. I'm not here to tell you who's the best or anything like that, because guys, my best may not be your best. Send
Hey
us.
Tim, hold on. Look, you went in the comments, because
Oh,
TJ Jones, he's going to rail to
okay.
get they got sponsored training. Yolanda was saying when we was talking about having the felony, the only thing you're not going to be able to go get is your hazmat and stuff like that, because you know that's federal.
Right.
So that's why I'm looking down, y'all, because I'm looking at the chat.
Well, yeah, go ahead, because I can't, some of them I can't see, and
Yeah.
I get sidetracked when I do. But I'm just going to give you a few schools that you can pick. It's up to you. Do your research. You know, it doesn't make any difference to me where you go get your training, as long as you get your training. Okay. Another thing is when you get
Right.
your license, I need you to stick it out. Okay. Some of y'all get to school and y'all like, I hate this company. I can't stand this company. They make me sick. They don't have enough trainers. Or we got all these people and there's
Yeah.
5 people to a
Yeah.
truck. I don't get no driving time. These folks don't know what they doing. You know, I'm not learning nothing. And that's how it is in training. Okay.
You could be in the hotel 2 weeks out of, you could be in the hotel for 2 weeks waiting for a trainer.
That's how it is at school, okay? I usually tell people that stick it out, please, because if you leave that school and you do not get your CDL, you're going to have to start that process all over again at another school, okay? The school is just there to give you your basic fundamentals, okay? They are not going to teach you how to be an experienced driver overnight. That takes time. Okay, that is where you're going to be on a truck one-on-one with your trainer, and you can drive your little heart out, okay, within the 11-hour clock, okay? But that is not where you're going to become this wonderful professional driver in a matter of 3 weeks. It's not
Nope.
going to happen. There's so many people trying to get through that school. You're going to be looked over. You may not even get to drive that day, whatever the case may be. But if you can get that pre-trip down, if you can drive that truck and shift enough where it don't cut off, and you can pass the basic fundamentals of that CDL. That's what they're looking for. That's what the instructors are looking for. If you can show that you can handle that video and pass the basic fundamentals, you will get your Class A license. Okay. Now,
Yep.
that still mean that you don't know nothing. You still don't know anything. All right. That's going to come later when you get on a truck one-on-one with your trainer. That's when you're going to ask all the questions. That
Keep your
is the time
notebook.
you're going to get your notebook. You're going to write down everything that they're telling
Right.
you. You're going to
Yep.
get on the job training. Okay. I hear a lot of people before they get their license, Miss Tamara, I didn't get to drive. I didn't get to do this. And then after they get their license and get on a truck with a trainer, it's like, oh, my trainer is just killing me. They making me drive all the time. Miss Tamara, I got to drive night shift. They making me go up the hill. I got to go down the hill.
Yeah.
It's just too much. I'm just tired. Well, a couple of weeks ago, you was not getting enough driving. Now you're getting too much driving. Okay. That's what trucking is. It's not a 9 to 5. You're not going to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and be done with your shift at 5 o'clock. It doesn't work like that. Okay. You're going to have to drive in the morning. You're going to have to drive at nighttime. You're going to have to drive, you take your breaks. It's training your body, training yourself on how to discipline and condition yourself for the road. What's your experience on that, Sin? The training.
Well, for all of y'all that's going on training, remember, we're in a small confinement. You're with an individual that you don't know. You knew the shifting. If you learning how to shift, if it's automatic, you got it easy because you ain't got to worry about catching the gear or stalling out. But when it comes to training, everything, I used to be a trainer. So I told my students, get you a notebook, take notes. Take notes. But when you on training, I think the thing with training that makes it hard is, one, if you're in a relationship and your spouse back home ain't on the same page, your boyfriend ain't on the same page, y'all gonna have a problem That's going to make your driving experience even harder.
Right. I would say this as a female. Some of the questions that they're going to ask you about training is, do you smoke or don't you smoke? Okay. They try to put smokers with people who smoke and non-smokers with people who don't smoke.
Non-smokers. Yep.
Right. Now, will you be able to get a female trainer or will you be able to get a male trainer? Some schools will not allow you to train with a male trainer if you are a female, okay? Some schools don't care. They figure, you adults, you should be in a professional environment and everybody should be treated with respect, right?
And that's not going to happen
And that's not
sometimes.
going to be the case because some trainers get on these power trips and they get their first student or they student and they think they just CEO or whatever global company that they're working at, and they could just do any and everything to you.
Or talk to you. However, my first trainer used to tell me, shut up. And I had to give him that look like, yo, let me tell you something. I'm a grown man, you a grown man. Let's not go there.
Now, yeah, there is
this is what I did, y'all. This is what I did. I called one and I said, listen, I'm not learning what I need to know from this trainer right here. So I need y'all to get me a new trainer because I ain't come here to fail. So I need a new trainer. So my trainer dropped me off in California because he was going home. But let me tell you why my trainer started giving me a problem. Because see, when me and my first trainer got together, everything was good. What was going on was the wife was back home. She was pregnant. They was trying to buy a house. He's on the road. So she's back home dealing with all the stuff that's going into getting the home together. He's on the road. Now, I'm out here. I'm coming out of school. I'm learning how to shift. I'm grinding gears, and I'm trying to get all of that down packed. So the frustration at home affected him, which affected us. So
right.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, because I know a lot of students did this. Do not be afraid to call your driver manager and say, listen, me and my trainer's not getting along. I would like a new trainer. Right. Because a lot of trainers are trainers out here be disrespectful, and the companies is not going to strip them from being trainers. Because it's already hard to get people being trainers anyway. So they're not going to strip them. They're just going to take you off the truck. They're going to put someone else on the truck because you and him y'all might clash. Y'all might not understand each other, come from different backgrounds, whatever. But don't be afraid to call your driver manager and say, hey, I need to get a new trainer. I'm not learning what I need to learn here. If you on the truck and you're a student and you on your phone, keep all your personal business outside the truck. Do not talk about relationships. Do not be on the phone arguing with your girlfriend. Don't be arguing with your boyfriend. Don't be talking family members about personal things that's going back home while you in the truck with your trainer, because they will butt in your business. So that's my advice to y'all. When you stop, hey, let me call you back. We talk and get out the truck. Walk around and talk.
You don't want to give that trainer any ammunition against you. Okay. So don't think that because you're on a truck with a trainer, we still have to abide by the same rules and regulations when it comes to sexual harassment, when it comes to discrimination, those rules still apply. It does not stop when you get on a truck with a trainer. Okay.
Yeah.
So be aware of that and know, what is the chain of command if you start having issues and problems with your trainer. One of the things that may happen, you may have a trainer that don't like to bathe or don't like to take a shower, or she may bathe once a week, or whatever the case may be. Those are employee issues. Remember, you are an employee of the company at that time. Do not be afraid to speak up. If you need to talk to somebody, if you need a mentor, you can reach out to Team RG. They have a group on Facebook with over 3,000 members. There's a lot of drivers in there. You can ask questions if you're having any problems. If you're a woman or a male, you can reach out to the Real Women in Trucking. There's a lot of experienced drivers in there that they can.
We got over 50 years of driving experience in Team RG. What drivers? We got drivers in there that's been out here 27 years, 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. New drivers. I'm going on 8.
Right. So there's a lot of people with experience in the industry that will be able to walk you through and help you through sometimes if you are in a situation where you don't if you should stay on the truck or not stay on the truck. Okay. I feel like younger people are more acceptable to deal with people's unprofessional behavior as a trainer. But guys, remember, people, your trainers must be professionals. Myself, been a trainer for 6 years. Sin's been a trainer as well. So if there's anything that's happening, you can email, reach out to those groups and they can walk you through. But understand what your chain of command is. Okay. It's nothing to say to your trainer, hey, I don't appreciate you talking to me like that, or I feel like you're treating me in such a different way. Have that conversation. Don't be afraid to have that conversation.
Yeah.
If there's nothing that is being done about that, then you take it to the next level, which may be your driver liaison or somebody that is the fleet manager or whatever the case may be. If they don't do anything about it, you escalate it, okay, all the way up. And then when you are doing that, guys, make sure you document everything, okay, because by the time you get to the top or to the EEOC or wherever it is that it may go to, you need to have everything documented. Who you talk to, what they say, what was the email about, okay? Because that's just going to help you in the long run. Hopefully, you won't have those issues, but there are a small percentage of people that still think that they can run a trainer's truck however they want to, do and say whatever they want to, and there's no consequences for their actions. And
Yeah.
if companies stand behind that, you as a trainee have to make sure that you document and protect yourself. All right. Hey Priscilla. Hey Nene.
Hey, I got some questions in there I want to address
Go ahead.
in the chat.
Okay.
So Tyron was saying that trainers will run you to make their check facts, make their check fat. Let me tell you, it's called pay your dues. Of course, my check was fat when I had my students. Now, when I had my students, I already knew they wasn't making a lot. So what I did was I bought them breakfast, I bought them lunch, I bought their dinner. And then some days I let them handle their own stuff. But I already knew they wasn't getting that much money while they was on training. That's that type of trainer I was. And then because my second trainer was like that, my trainer Mike, who's still out here training at Warner. And then when I'm driving, I didn't put my students on the top bunk. I let my students sleep on the bottom bunk. Put your sheet over mine and go ahead, knock out. I never put my students on the top bunk. The only time my students got on the top bunk is if we was just done for the day and we both were sleeping.
And for safety purposes, you are supposed to sleep on the bottom bunk as a student. Okay. That is one of the policies, that you sleep. No one is supposed to be in the top bunk when that truck is moving. Okay. Let me just show you a couple of the schools. Okay. I'm not promoting these schools, telling you where to go. I'm just giving you examples. Do your research and be careful of schools that put a restriction on your license. Okay. There's certain schools that you can go to.
Oh, where they put automatic?
They will put an automatic restriction on your license. And what that does is that will keep you always having to be with a company that has automatic trucks. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're going local or whatever the case may be, they may not have automatic trucks and you may not get that job because of that restriction. Okay. But now in 2021, It wasn't a big issue when I started school in 2014, but in 2021, it was a big issue in 2014. But in 2041, most trucks are going to automatic. Most big companies are going to automatics. Okay, so I do want to.
Okay, while you looking that up, sis, um, anybody that got the endorsements, I know someone was asking about the endorsements. Should they drop them? Don't drop your endorsements. Keep your endorsements. This is what I did. I got all my endorsements, and the reason I got all my endorsements because I said to myself, I don't want to limit myself. I don't want them to be able to tell me it ain't nothing I can't drive. I can do doubles, triples, tanker, hazmat, school bus. I got all that. Do I need it now? Not really, but I'll keep it just in case down the line I want to make a change and go and do doubles. I have that. If I want to go drive tanker, I have that. So don't drop your endorsements for the ones that was asking that. Another thing, my sister in here, Tamara. So hey sis, my sister Priscilla in here. That's the sister that co-signed for me to go to truck school. So
Hey, sis.
yeah, thank God to my sister. For those that's looking to go into school, if you don't got credit and you need a co-signer, some people family ain't gonna co-sign for you. So I'm grateful for the sister that I have, and I continue to work to make her proud. Regardless, she's already proud, but I always tell her like, you ain't see nothing yet. All right, sis. I know you got the website. You can make sure.
Let's talk about some of the training schools and things like that you can go to. Okay, I'm gonna point out different things that you need to look for. Swift is one of the largest transportation companies. They offer drive-in, they offer flatbed, they offer so many different things. Okay, now with Swift, you do have to have your permit to go there. You already have to have your permit and your medical card to go. Okay, Swift is the largest companies. The one of the pros about Swift is it's so big that you can find different things like dedicated routes, regional routes where you're not going all over the state, right? You're just going on a region. They have many accounts like with Walmart and things like that. Okay, there's a lot of people that come in this industry that go to Swift. They do not put an automatic restriction on your license, and you are a solo driver once you complete training. After your first year, you don't owe them anything. You stay 2 years with them, then they pay you back for that training. Okay. Another one is CR England. This is one of the companies that I went to. Okay. CR England is another one of the biggest refrigerated companies in the United States. They have training schools all over the United States. The only thing about CR England, which is a con, and it may be a pro for you, okay, is that they do team driving. Okay, so once you sign up with CR England, you're going to be on a truck with another person for at least 5 months. Okay, some people look at that as a good thing because if you're new getting in the industry, you may not want to be by yourself right away. You may want to have that backup. And the thing about CR English training is that they will put two new people together or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, you have somebody that can watch you backing up. Okay, there should not be any reason why you should have an incident on the truck with them, because if you can't see something or you are backing up into a spot, you have a person on that truck that can get out and spot you. Okay, that is one of the companies. They do ask you to sign a 12-month commitment with them. All right. But they do put a automatic restriction on your license, and you have to team drive. Okay. Now that's another place where you can go get a dedicated position, a regional position, whatever the case may be. All right. Another company, y'all heard it. There go my girl, Miss D Silva. It is Prime Transportation. Prime is one that you can go to. A lot of people go to Prime. They go, D, look at her. You see her? They got her on the front.
Yeah, I didn't even know she was in there.
D Silva, they have one of the best, a good training facility, all over the place. They have a lot of accounts as well. They have a diamond program, highway diamonds for the women that's there. Also, they do tankers. So if that's something you want to get into, Prime has tankers. Prime has drive-in. Prime has reefer. Okay, and Prime is one of the highest paid training companies that you can go to. Not only that, is that not that they're the highest paid training of being a student that you can go to, is that they also have one of the longest training periods that you're going to face going to Prime. Okay, so when you come out of that, you gonna know how to drive a truck. Okay, so they really take their time with their drivers, and they have a program as well. All right, now you got another one called CRST. These are just the mega ones that I'm giving you. There's so many
Yeah.
more out there, but you have CRST. One of the things about CRST, they do team driving. They do expedited driving. They do they have a training facility, okay, where you can go. Now, one thing I can say about CRST and also CR England is if you are a convicted felon, they will take you. If you are somebody that doesn't have a lot of work experience, they will take you. If you are somebody that's in Florida or something like that, where you can't go with a lot of other companies, they may take you. Okay. Now, with all these companies, I don't say which one you should and should not go to, because a lot of you guys got to get in where you fit in. Everybody does not have a perfect record. Everybody doesn't have a perfect employment history, a perfect driving history, a perfect whatever. So you may get a chance to go to some of these companies if your record is not 100%. Okay. It's about getting your experience and getting your foot in the door and going with a company that will allow you to get that training you need. Okay. Now, you don't have to stay there. I'm not telling you to go to CRST and stay there for the rest of your life, Swift or Prime or CR England and stay there for the rest of your life. I'm saying go somewhere where you can get your training and become a experienced driver. Okay,
Yeah.
so that you do not have to get on a trainer's truck anymore, right? So, and those are contracted schools. You will have to sign a contract if you do go to those schools. If you have your license, you don't have to sign a contract. These are schools that you can also go to if you had your CDL once before and you're trying to get in the industry back again. You can take what is called a refresher and go to one of these schools and get back on the road as well. Okay. If you have any questions about those companies, you will have to call them. Okay. I do not know about jobs, accounts, pay, none of that stuff. Okay. You would have to talk to a recruiter for that.
As we go along with this Teach One podcast, we're gonna break down questions to ask, like cents per miles, deadhead, loaded, detention, layover, so you can have a better understanding of that stuff. Because a lot of companies is gonna pay you cents per mile. So that's like, if you sitting home right now or you sitting down, they're gonna tell you the minimum amount of miles you get a week in trucking is 2,500. So let's say you go to a company that pays you 35 cents times 35 cents, times that by 2,500. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like 2,500 times 30 cents.
Right.
And that'll be your gross for the week. Now you'll go to companies, you'll drive more than 2,500 miles a week. That's just the minimum that each company will tell you. In the questions, someone asked about, can you bring kids? Once you go solo and you in your own truck, you'll be able to go home and get the rest of your stuff. They'll route you home or route you to a terminal to be able to get you home to go get the rest of your stuff. Because when you coming out to be with a trainer, you can't pack everything. You take a pillow, a quilt, a sheet, your underwears, your t-shirts, your bras, your panties. Of course, you need that. Depending on the time of year, boots, if it's winter time, your scullies, your hats, and stuff like that, because you in a confined space and you only got but so much room.
Right, right. So don't try to pack everything. I have ladies that come on my truck. They got the designer
They
purses.
got the kitchen
They
sink.
got their bling in outfits on. Things like that. And I'm like, girl, we about to work. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to the fashion show. The only people that's gonna see you is the shipping and the receiving place, and also you're gonna take a shower at the truck stop. All right. So I don't need you to dress on your Sunday's best. Okay. This is a working job, and you're gonna need some boots. Okay.
No. Correction, sis.
Uh-huh.
This is not a job.
Okay.
This is a
It's
lifestyle.
a lifestyle. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go
I
with
don't want
that.
y'all coming out here thinking like trucking is a job, because being out here is a whole different lifestyle. Make sure you got your shower shoes
Shower.
and all of that. Oh, it's the showers clean. Trust me, I've been in some truck stops. Showers is all they always clean in the showers, but I still got my shower shoes I wear.
Right. You want to keep it to a bare minimum. Okay. Y'all are coming back. You ain't going forever. A lot of stuff you're going to have to buy on the road when you get out there. But that truck is so small, guys. I've seen people come on trainer's truck and they got these big, huge suitcases. And they got, I'm like, girl, where are you going? Where we
Word.
going, girl? We
It's a
coming
four
back.
week. This is a 4 week vacation cruise.
Yeah, and you're not on vacation, okay? Don't think we finna get on truck together and we just gonna ride and go sightseeing and hotels and all this kind of stuff. You are there to learn a career, because one thing that a trainer does not want to do is to turn you loose out on that road and you have no idea of what you're doing, because that affects them. And also, it's no fun if you kill somebody or somebody kills you. Okay. And that's how serious that we take these training programs, because it could be between life and death. And how you make sure that you're safe and all this kind of stuff. We want to make sure that you get it, because we don't want you hurting nobody. We don't want you killing somebody else's families. So it's very important that we teach you everything. And this is the most important. Some of y'all are so spoiled. You complain about the bed. You complain about the weather. You complain about the hills. You complain about this, that. Guys, this is not that. I don't know what people told you about trucking, but this is a serious job where you can not only, if you kill somebody, you could be locked up for a very long time. Okay. So you got to take this serious. Okay. You
Someone just
don't want
that
to be
it
out
just happened the other day. It just happened the other day. Someone caused a major accident. What happened? They found cocaine in the system. Off to jail he going.
Yeah. Oh, you can't. And please, this is the biggest question I get saying. Can I do the CBD oil?
Nope.
Well, Miss Tamara, I'm on lower tab. Well, I got to take my pain medicine. Well, you may not want to be in trucking, okay? Because it's very cut and dry of things that you can and cannot take. You cannot do drugs, and you cannot. I don't care if it's legal in California, Colorado, at your mama house, whoever. I don't care about that. You are driving and you are under federal regulations. You are under state regulations. I don't care if it helps your blood pressure, if it helps your arthritis, if it helps all kinds of stuff, and they selling it at the local truck stop and
The
all this
CDC. What is it? CBD? You
stuff.
said
You cannot take none of that stuff, guys.
no.
None of it. Okay.
Nope.
You have to be of clear mind while you're driving a 80,000 pound vehicle. If you are a person that needs to have all these pain medicines and you got to have all these special treatments just so you can function, trucking may not be the job or the career.
And let them know you taking those prescriptions. Let
Prescriptions,
them let
sleep.
them know you taking those prescriptions.
Right, right.
So and
Because
no alcohol. Don't be at the hotel after you come out of class at the truck school. For those that might go to, like some people, like Roadmasters is a separate school. So when you go back to the hotel, you know, me and my other classmates, we used to go out and eat. Don't go out and eat and come back in there looking saucy, because that hotel is going to call that school. That hotel could call, even if you're in a hotel at a major carrier, at Prime or CR England or CRST, that hotel is making tons of money. So if you walking through that lobby and they looking at you, or someone walk by you and you smelling like alcohol, they're going to call that company, because that's where they're getting their money from.
Right. I had experience where I was at KLLM, and we all passed our CDLs and got our license and everything like that. And one of the biggest mistakes some of the guys did was they went and got alcohol. They went and celebrated because they passed their CDL license and came back to the hotel, and all of them got sent home. Okay. It is not okay, because you're still at work. You still got to be able to be in a readiness position to operate that, to operate the vehicle. Okay. How much are you going to make? We told you how much you're going to make during training, right? We told you you're going to make anywhere between 550, 400, 550 a week, before taxes. Not a lot of money. Well, Tamara, I done already finished my training. How much am I going to make after I get on my truck and I'm a solo driver? Okay,
that's what they'll tell you that before they bring you in for orientation.
Okay,
they're gonna tell you what you making. And that's why I tell y'all, when y'all talking to the recruiters, remember, recruiters is gonna tell you what they need to tell you to get you there. Your goal is to understand what you need to ask them. Okay, how much you paying me once you find out what they paying you for training, how much I'm getting cents per mile, CPM. Is that, all right, they might be like 32 cents. Is that loaded and empty miles? You got to ask that question, because I got caught out there with experience. And here's what happened. I went to Tribe, and I was leaving night after I had my disagreement with them in Memphis. So when I went to Tribe, because everybody asked me on my YouTube, like, what happened with me and Tribe? So here's what happened. I speak to the recruiter, and I said, all right, what's the pay over there? Oh, it's 40 cents. Now, I have experience, so I'm like, is that loaded and empty? Is that the loaded miles and the empty miles together, 40 cents? The recruiter's like, yeah. Why, when I get there and get the orientation, this lady comes out handing out this paper? So we like, oh, okay, what's this? It's per diem. So how they did it was like, I think it was like 34 cents loaded, and the per diem was 6 cents on the empty miles. I was like, oh, no, I'm out of here. But I couldn't move because I already left night. And I'm like, okay, I had child support. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to run for a month. And then I ran for a month, and then I fired them. So, yeah.
Right. Basically, guys, and y'all know that I'm a recruiter. I have over 50 companies, okay? And the most information that I can give you, and because I've been a driver, I've been a trainer, I'm not going to try to over what you're going to be making out here when you come out here. Basically,
you first start,
you are going to be at the bottom at the starting. Okay. So I'm just going to give you an idea of what most companies, a lot of training companies start off at as a solo driver. And it's usually anywhere between 38 cents a mile or 40 cents a mile. You may could get a company that pay you 40 cents a mile. Okay. But normally it's anywhere between 38, 40 cents a mile. Okay. Now they may add some different things like safety bonuses on there.
Yeah.
Or college bonus or fuel bonus or whatever the case may be. But basically, I tell you, after you complete training and you're on a truck with as a solo driver, you're going to make pretty much anywhere between $800 and $1,100 a week. Would you agree, Sin?
Yeah.
Okay. Before
once you get on your own, yeah.
Okay. Now, that is going to depend on what company you go to. That is going to depend on what account you get on. Some accounts pay more than the others. Okay. That depends on if you're doing tanker, if you're doing flatbed, or whatever the case may be. It depends on those issues, okay? But you're going to be know that you are starting at the bottom, okay? Greater is later. Yolanda says that
Yeah,
Northeast
let's get to some of the chat.
Walmart dedicated account pays 53 cents a mile to start. Okay. So, and a lot of it too has to depend what area you're in. So if you're in the Northeast, like New York, like what she say, is it New, what is it? Walmart dedicated account and NE News England is, I don't know what that is. But if you're on a dedicated, if you're in New York, if you in a place where it's high demand for drivers, then you will probably get paid a little bit more, okay, starting off, okay, than the general. But generally, you're going to start off at about 38 to 40 cents a mile, okay, cents per mile. Um, yes, you get paid for detention, you get paid for layover. So that's why I say your check can be anywhere between 800 to 1100. Some people can get more, okay? But that may not be you, depending on what area you in, what account you want to run, and where you're working. Okay,
Yeah.
so take that in mind. Your first year of trucking is going to be one of your hardest years that will either make or break you. Okay. You're going to decide, is this for me or it's not for me and I'm going back home. Okay. But that, if you can make it through your first year, your training time is going to be, I cried more in training than I did my whole 6 years of trucking. Okay. I was just so frustrated, disappointed in myself because I wasn't picking up the shifting. I failed some tests, so that was a very trying time. So when I tell you greater comes later, you're going to have to do this work if you want to be able to see some of the checks of the owner operators, some of the checks of your other YouTubers when they're posting $2,000-3,000 a week checks. Okay.
You're not gonna see that on my page. I don't, because that kind of sets you up for failure.
Right. When you looking at stuff like that, remember these are not people that just got their license. They may have been on a job for a longer period of time. They may be doing something as lease. Okay, they may be doing other things. Okay, that may not be you. So I want to set your expectations up that you're not going to be a millionaire in your first year. Okay, you can make good money in this
You
industry,
can make great money. Yeah.
and will set you up that you don't have to worry about anything ever. Okay, but you got to pay your dues, guys. What
You
you
know
guys
why I
say
want
about
to touch on
that?
this? You know why I want to touch on with the money? Like, yes, you will see people on their YouTube talk about I made this, I made that. I don't do that on my channel because when you start watching other people money or you start hearing other people talking about how much money they make, you start looking at your money in a funny way. Like your money is like you not making enough. That's why
Right.
I don't ever talk about what I make on my checks, because when you listen to other people, oh, I made 2,000. Now the money you making, you looking at it like
That ain't no money.
that
But
ain't no money, and then you're gonna start being frustrated. My
right,
thing on my channel, when you come to my channel, for those that haven't been to my channel, I'm motivational. I'm telling you, you gotta put the work in. Don't come out here to drive just to drive. Come out here with a purpose.
right,
Come out here, get rid of your debt. Work on getting rid of debt. Get rid of school loans. Get rid of credit card bills. Work on building your credit. Trucking can get you a house. Trucking can get you to the point where you can move out the projects. I'm from the projects out of New York City. I have no GED, no high school diploma, no college. I have my LLC for like 4 years now. I've been an owner operator going on 3 next month. It ain't been easy. It ain't been easy. I've been on child support. I've been evicted. I've been on food stamps. For all of y'all that don't know my story, but you got to keep going. Other people, don't worry about who's not doing what back home. Don't worry about who don't support you. If this is what you want to do it.
Right.
Every company got an issue. Ain't no perfect. Nike got issues, Warner got issues, Swift got issues, CR England got issues, small company got issues, mid-sized company. Every company got an issue. Every job in the world have an issue. You might not like the supervisor. You might not like the pay. You might not like the
right.
But come out here with a plan.
That's
if you living at home with your girlfriend mama or your girlfriend's grandmother, or you living at the aunt house, or you living at a friend house, and you trying to get your family up out of the projects or that rat infested neighborhood, make sure you on the same page with your significant other. If you single, get out here and ride. Get it. Let's go.
That is one of the biggest problems that I had with young ladies coming in the industry that got on my truck. They got these boyfriends at home. The boyfriend thinking they out here cheating and doing all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of insecurities in the relationship. You can't focus on the things that you need to focus on out here on the road because you're so worried about what's going at home. Guys, let me tell you something. If you're distracted and you're behind the wheel of a 80,000 pound vehicle and you're worried about somebody at home, that is a very dangerous time where you could really hurt somebody. Okay, you got to cut off everybody. If these people can't push you forward, if these people cannot, I had to stop answering my phone.
Yeah.
Because every time I call, it was always every time somebody called, it was always a problem. It was always an issue. It was always when you coming home. And I had to sit there and realize that if I quit right now, I have not accomplished anything. Okay, I did not come all this way to go home and not take home a check to my family, to my kids. Okay,
right.
Y'all don't know, my son almost was talking about going into a homeless shelter and doing all this kind of stuff. We was living off of $400 a week. And $200 of that week, I had to give it to the person that was taking care of my youngest child.
Right.
And I just kept saying, hold on, wait until I become a solo driver. You can actually, once you get finished and you got your experience or whatever, some people put their kids on the truck, depending on how old they are. Some women have to homeschool their children sometimes, So that is going to be one of the toughest periods of your life getting in this industry and trying to be a solo driver and make ends meet and all this. There was a girl that I was rooming with at CR England, and the day she got her CDL license, right, was the day they repossessed her car at the CR England terminal. Okay. So when you talking about your last of your last, okay, they came picked up her car the day she got the license. And
that's not even funny.
Don't worry.
I was backed up. I ain't never put this in my video. It was one time I fell behind on child support, like $550. They suspended my license. So I was stuck at a truck stop for a week and a half until the payment went through. So,
those things happen. I remember that too. I remember.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have those times. But guys, you gotta push through. You got to push through. You can do it. If you just take your time and eliminate your excuses, you will be able to do this. Okay. If I could come out here and do this, y'all can do it. Okay.
Hey, before we wrap this up, because we're gonna wrap this up at 7:30 on Eastern time.
Okay.
Before we wrap this up, for all of my people from inner cities, New York City, LA, Chicago, any hood, any project, let me tell you what started changing my life. A lot of us come from low income jobs, income-based living, because I'm from the project, so my rent was based off my income. So for a lot of y'all that's sitting there, you might be working at fast food, you might be working at a warehouse. Change starts with you. Everybody else is sitting and they going out and they hanging out. This is your time to get your life together. This is your time to study. Don't worry about all the hanging out. Don't worry about chasing women. Don't worry about chasing men. You want a better life? This is on you. I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm doing now. Because I want y'all to remember the saying, if you don't want a black man to know something, for all my fellas out there, put it in the book. Why? Because a lot of our people is distracted with social media and we paying attention to things that's not improving our life. In my truck, I got a library in here. Look. This is my book game in my truck. This is all my books. This is all my books.
Yep.
All my books. Educate yourself. Once you start educating yourself, start understanding about how to raise your credit scores. YouTube videos you can watch. Understand about setting the budget. Get rid of all that overhead expenses. I know a lot of us come from where we wasn't able to have the money to go buy the fancy stuff, you know. So when you get out here and you start getting good money, you got to be able to try to keep control. And then the truck stops is set up to vacuum clean your pocket because there's going to be all glitter in there. They got toys in there. They got purses in there for the ladies. They got all the fancy GPSs. I was looking at the GPS today. $800. I'm like, what? Nah.
They get their map out. You
No.
better learn how to trip plan. But listen, guys, we've been on here for an hour and 31 minutes. And this year, Mr. Sinister and myself have decided to collaborate and start working with you guys, being your driver mentors, and also going over these basic things of you getting in the industry. So we're going to be doing this weekly, every week. If you have any questions or anything, I suggest that you join Team RG Global, where those questions can be answered for you. You could also join the Ville Women in Trucking, where those questions can be answered for you. And also with our mentor, Miss D Silva with Trucking Divas Rock. These are 3 positive groups that you will be able to get your questions answered, and you don't have to wait on us to reply to the email or whatever the case may be. So that's what we're doing, guys. So we've taken it from going to school to purchasing our trucks to finally paying off our trucks. Sinister is an owner operator that his truck is paid for. Myself, my truck is paid for. I have a driver in my truck. Also, I started my own freight brokering business, and I also get people in the industry. So if you have any questions that you may have, please join us on a weekly basis so we will be able to answer those questions and help you guys out during your first year of trucking. One more thing, Sinister, before I go ahead and say a couple of things.
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for the super chat. Thank you for taking time out to come listen to this very informational video. We're going to do this every week because I told sis that we're going to get back to the basics. It's not about YouTube numbers with me. That's why on my page, I turned my subscribers off where you can't see them because I'm more about the people. I want to see others succeed. Y'all already saw my books. You know, I bought books out here at the truck stop. I bought books at Walmart. I got books on my iPhone and my Amazon Kindle. If you don't want physical books, I got. So stay focused. Stay focused. Right now, you might be going through a storm. Right now, your pockets might be popped right now. You might be sitting there. You might have to check your bank account before you swipe the debit card to make sure you got enough to swipe it. I've been there. All my fellas out there that's on child support, that might not be seeing their kids. I've been there. You come to my channel, you'll hear my story. I've been there. You coming out the projects, you got felonies. Don't let that stop you. Don't let no one tell you no. They know is not the final answer. Do not give up. Failure only happens when you stop trying. I failed my road test 3 times before I got it. So for those who fail y'all road test 2 times, oh, I'm sick of this. Well, guess what? Sinister done failed 3 times and I got it on the 4th try. And if it would have took me 6 times to get it, I was going to invest the money. Invest in you.
So
invest in you.
Guys, we've been there, we've done that. And you know, we both gone on to do other things, but we have not forgot about our day when we started. And if we can do anything to help you guys in 2021 to become getting your license and have a great career in the trucking industry, we will be more than happy to do that. Okay, please state
Yes.
your questions. And you know, we'll meet you next week on another live feed. So all the questions that you didn't ask tonight, save it for next week. Okay, we got you.
Put it in the comments.
Put it
Put
in
it
the
in the comments so we can write them out. And yes, for the person who asks, is it worth becoming a truck driver? From my experience, coming from $329 a week, hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is.
Right. We're not going to promise you're going to be the richest person out here or whatever the case may be and make all these, you know, big promises to you that you're going to be riding around in this, that, and the third. But we will tell you that if you put your work in and you educate yourself and invest in yourself,
invest in yourself,
a plan on how you're going to get from, not about everybody else, it's about how you're going to get from point A to point B and increase your revenue and your income and make sure that you and your family is okay. This is where you want to be. Okay. Other than that, guys, we love you. We love you. Check out Sinister's channel. Mr. Sinister, the trucker, he has a channel. Please subscribe. You also, y'all already on my channel. Please share it with your friends, your family, anybody that you know
friends,
that's looking to come into the industry, and let them know, hey, there's a platform here that we
for
will
new
love,
drivers.
For new drivers, that we will love to answer all your questions, because guys, we've been there, done that, and we haven't forgot. All right, 2021, each one teach one. We are out. Peace, love, joy, and happiness. You guys have a wonderful and blessed night. Bye.